Imagine pouring years of life and millions of dollars into building an online multiplayer game. You have got brilliant team spread across cities and working around the clock. But there's a tiny annoying problem. Standard email is too slow for a team to collaborate over code and art. You're constantly waiting on replies and it's killing your momentum. This is what exactly happened to Stewart Butterfield and his team while building a game called Glitch. Instead of buying clunky softwares to fix this problem, they decided just to hack together a quirky bare bones internal messaging system so they could just send files and chat in real time. Just a quick fix to get back to game production. Fast forward, Glitch is a massive commercial failure. The game has been shut down and everyone is just packing up their desks. But as they were closing up the shop, the team realized something very crazy. They couldn't even imagine going forward working without that internal chat tool which they built together. What next? They polished it up and released it to the public and called it Slack. Today, that quick fix is multi-million-dollar backbone of modern corporate communications. From being too annoyed to use the standard email communication for a failed video game production to revolutionizing how the entire world works. This phenomenon has a name. It is called the butterfly effect. Let me explain to you what it actually is and how it was actually discovered. Because it wasn't discovered by a philosopher, it was discovered by a mathematician. In the 1960s, a meteorologist named Edward Lorenz was using a massive room-sized computer to predict the weather with the variables like air density, temperature, air pressure, etc. One day he wanted to rerun the complete sequence, from which he already knew the results from the previous run. To save time, instead of typing the exact number, which was 0.506127, he just typed 0.506. This time for a rerun. He rounded off a tiny fraction that is actually a microscopic change. He left to grab a coffee. When he came back, the weather prediction was not slightly different. It was a completely different weather system. That tiny missing fractions, the 3 digits at the last, completely altered the predictions and the future. Lorenz then realized that tiny change in a complex system in the starting conditions lead to drastically different outcomes. He later posed a statement that became very famous. A flap of a butterfly wings in Brazil can set off a tornado in Texas. Now you might be thinking it's a cool science, but what weather prediction have to do with me or you? Everything, because your life, your goals and your career is a complex system too. Human beings tend to overestimate what they can do in a single day, but underestimate what they can do in a single year. The butterfly effect is the mathematical proof behind the atomic habits. Think about the maths of self-growth. If you improve just by 1% every single day, you don't just get 365% smarter at the end of 365 days. But because of compounding, 1.01 raised to the power 365 equals 37.78. Yeah, actually becomes approximately 38 times smarter and better when you actually started it off. We always look for massive leaps, the overnight success. But in the real world, those doesn't exist. Behind every massive success is a series of tiny, invisible butterfly flaps. So how do you actually implement the butterfly effect in your daily life? You stop focusing on the tornado and start focusing on the flap. You systemize small wins. You don't need to read a book a week to become incredibly smart. Reading just 10 pages a day takes only 15 minutes. But doing this every day consistently results in 15 books in an year. That compounding knowledge actually alters your decision-making framework and your mindset. And it's same for business. You don't need to build a perfect product from the day one. You just need to start solving tiny annoyances, like Stewart Butterfield did with his team's communication. Now pause for a moment and start looking at your daily routine. What is the 1% friction that you can remove? What is the 10-page habit that you can add? The butterfly effects prove mathematically that nothing that you do is insignificant. Every small single choice you make today is compounding into the reality you live the next year. And that's what exactly that we explore in our podcast series as well, how they build it. We look past the massive tornadoes of success of top founders and CEOs and find the tiny flaps that made this success happen. And if you want to keep compounding your own knowledge, hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment below telling us what 1% habit change you are bringing after watching this video. And I will see you in the next one.